Secretary of State Marco Rubio is walking back claims that the United States plans to govern Venezuela after the dramatic removal of President Nicolas Maduro. Just one day after President Donald Trump repeatedly said the US would be running Venezuela, Rubio clarified that Washington has no intention of managing the country day to day. Instead, he says the US will use economic pressure, specifically an oil blockade, to force political and policy changes. Speaking on Sunday political shows, Rubio said the real leverage comes from America's control over Venezuelan oil exports. The United States plans to continue enforcing an oil quarantine, blocking sanctioned tankers, and using that pressure to demand reforms in the oil industry and stronger action against drug trafficking. Rubio's comments appeared aimed at calming fears that the US could be headed toward a long-term occupation or nation-building effort, similar to past wars in Iraq or Afghanistan. He dismissed those comparisons, saying this situation is different because it's happening in the Western Hemisphere. President Trump's remarks the day before sparked backlash from Democrats and even concern among parts of his own Republican base, particularly those who oppose foreign interventions. Trump offered few details or timelines, repeatedly saying the US would oversee Venezuela until it could be put back on track. Rubio insisted the president's words were being misunderstood. He said Washington will judge Venezuela's remaining leadership by their actions and allow them time to govern, as long as they cooperate with US demands. Still, Rubio did not rule out further military involvement. He said the US already has enough forces in the region to stop drug trafficking and enforce sanctions without placing troops inside Venezuela. Meanwhile, Venezuela's government has condemned the operation that removed Maduro, calling it an illegal kidnapping. Maduro and his wife were flown to the United States late Saturday and now face federal charges in New York related to alleged narco-terrorism conspiracies. Maduro is expected to appear in court in Manhattan on Monday. The operation followed months of escalating US pressure, including maritime seizures and drone strikes targeting suspected drug trafficking routes. Legal experts are already questioning whether the actions were lawful, noting they were carried out without approval from Congress. On the ground in Venezuela, the aftermath has left the capital unusually quiet. Streets were mostly empty, businesses closed, and armed civilians and soldiers guarded key government buildings, including the presidential palace. Venezuela's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, has been named interim leader by the country's high court, despite previously saying she did not want the role. President Trump has issued mixed messages, praising her cooperation at first, then warning she could face severe consequences if she does not follow US demands. For many Venezuelans, uncertainty now hangs in the air. As one Caracas resident put it, people are still shaken. Everything feels frozen.